crazy cold.
Okay, so record it.
All right. Also, will you send us a copy of the recording as well?
Sure. Of course.
All right.
I think that I will drop into YouTube or so. Joe,
Right.
can you hear us?
Yep, no problem.
Yeah, hi, Joe.
Hey, Joe.
Hey, what's going on?
Good. I was just telling Ulan I went to our office and the gate is closed and I forgot my keys to the gate. So right now I have to go somewhere else. So
Got it. Well, drive safe.
yeah, will do. It's an empty city at this point.
Okay. So hold on. So should we wait for Deep or Azamat, or can we start right now? How do you guys think?
I think we should give them like maybe 6 I mean up to 5 or
minutes, yeah?
10. Yeah, 5-10 minutes just so they're there. Joe, what time is it for you?
It's hold on. Joe asked to unmute. Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's 8 p.m. right now on Sunday night. The San Francisco 49ers is a American football team. It is going to the Super Bowl, so everybody here is pretty excited in a couple weeks.
Oh yeah.
All right, that's actually cool. Yeah, I mean I can only see like the hype of the Super Bowl on the internet, and I really want to experience that once, like feel it for myself in like flesh. It's pretty exciting.
Hey. How's everything, Joe? It's been a while, On mute. What up? Hold on. Yeah, on mute.
Yeah, no, things are going well. The new year has definitely been a pretty exciting time. Definitely excited to see all of my old friends and meet the new participants here in this chat as well. So, hi from San Francisco, California, USA, so Silicon Valley.
Cool. Is Jeep joining us?
I messaged him, so it's a casual conversation. Maybe you want to kind of get it kicked off, and then we can continue the conversation.
Oh, Azamat is here. Azamat.
Hey, Azamat, good to see you again.
Hey, Joe. How are you, man?
Good. Happy New Year.
What's
Happy New
up,
Year.
Azamat?
Hey,
Yeah,
Nikita.
Nikita is here.
Hey, you always in the dark, Nikita. You always driving somewhere.
Yeah, I'm literally parking right now, and I'm going straight to the office. So yeah, it's for me it's 6 a.m. So
6 a.m., dude. Damn.
6 a.m. Yes, 6 a.m.
So should we start? Okay, gentlemen. Recording is in progress. So it's a casual talk. So today, let me introduce myself. Everyone, I'm Ulan. So this is a hackathon, first one of AI hackathons in 2024 in Kyrgyzstan, Central Asia. The main topic is ChatGPT. So we have around 200 participants, or even more than 200 participants. There are most of them. They're like from teenagers from 14 years old to 40 years old. Most of them, they are building their first startup, and they're on the idea stage. So we are here to help them. Let's chat. And Nikita is a founder of Pineapple Square. Yeah, you have a time to introduce your startup. And we were participating in Draper University back in fall 2023. Joseph, yeah, is the talent advisor, recruiter with more than 20 years experience of advising startups, founders, executives. Azamat Akilev is a serial entrepreneur from Kyrgyzstan. So we also participated in Draper University, one of the biggest businessmen entrepreneurs in prop tech in Kyrgyzstan. So happy to see you guys. Let's start. Well, first, my question is, how do you think, guys? What is importance of pitch deck? What is a pitch deck? Why is it important? Why it matters what is essential in building startup? You can start like in any order.
All right. I will try to first answer that. Sorry, everyone. I'm literally just entering my office right now, so kind of pitch dark for me. But this is Nikita from Pineapple Square. And the way I see pitch deck is like, if you want to take somebody that has no idea what you're doing and what you're about to do in the future, how can you onboard them with your idea and get them excited in 2 minutes, 60 seconds, depending on, how fast can you do it? So it's like a very short story of who you are, what you're doing, and why should I be excited about your startup. Me as a venture capitalist, me as a customer, or me as as somebody that you want to hire. So pitch decks are very versatile. Like people usually link them to like venture capital, and that's okay. But not all startups are, venture backed or like venture backable. But you can create pitch decks for your customers. You can create pitch decks for somebody that you actually want to hire, like a talent. So yeah, there's more to pitch decks than you can first think about.
Cool. Joe, tell us about pitch deck. How many pitch decks have you reviewed in the past months, by the way? Yeah.
No, just pitch decks are just something really allowing people to explain your product, your passion, give people a little clarity about who you are, what they're kind of looking for. You want to be able to figure out what the total addressable market, who are your ideal customers. You're also trying to figure out, if you're looking to expand your team, who are the team members you're looking with. Maybe you want to partner. Maybe you're here at the hackathon trying to find teammates for your own team right now. Or maybe you're looking for additional customers and trying to test out a hypothesis for what you're trying to build. Pitch decks are pretty common here in Silicon Valley. Everybody at least has a couple pitch decks for different ideas, but also helps you focus all of your ideas, make it more concise, be able to tell the market that you want to go after, whether it be local, international, maybe United States or other parts of the world. And pitch decks are also used in a variety of different fashions. For some, pitch decks are very detailed. Others are going to be very sparse. It might be just an image, a couple lines. So it really depends on your conversational style, as well as how dense of information you want to convey. So a consumer pitch deck will be different than enterprise pitch deck. A pitch deck for a first-time entrepreneur will be different than a repeat founder. So yeah, definitely been super exciting as well. And I believe we had Deep join as well. Hey, Deep.
Yeah.
Deep is here, yeah? Oh, yeah. Oh, hold on.
He's driving.
Yeah. Also, to Joe's point, by the way, there is like, I can say from my experience with Silicon Valley, there is certainly a big difference on how people talk about their startups. Like my past experience in from Romania and Europe in general is I hope Deep can listen to this because like he was uh one of the people that actually put this into perspective for me. But it's very story based. I mean it's so much story based in the US compared to Europe. In Europe, you have to put all these data, and everybody's just like bored out of their minds with all those numbers that you can hardly understand. I mean, they take you from knowing nothing to like a lot of graphs and data about something that you don't know, maybe, or you know, but like the perspective. I mean, it's complicated. And Silicon Valley just teaches you to create a story about who you are and why you're doing it. Because in the end, if you want to build a startup or you want to build a product, you're going to change it a lot. So the data about your product can change, but like who you are and what your story is evolves. It's like a different perspective that I also took on pitch decks. Just
So Nikita,
my
can you
point.
hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry. I know it's dark because I'm driving right now, but you know, one thing that's interesting is that uh, I do agree with you that the US is very story focused and Europe is very data driven. I think that a lot of that has to do with the trust factor. I think here people give trust first of all right away, and they're like,
Yeah.
"Oh, okay, well it's going to work, and if it doesn't work, it's okay. He'll mess it up, and then we'll just do it again." And I think that there isn't any room really in Western and Eastern Europe for failure. And not only Western Eastern Europe. I mean, Ulan's on the call. From the Stan region in the Middle East too. It's also very, so how do you say, not failure tolerant, right?
Yeah.
And but one thing I have seen, guys, is that there's a lot of startups coming out right now in the last 10 years out of France, surprisingly. A lot of unicorns. In fact, the highest number of unicorns coming out of all of Europe is coming out of France the last 10 years. And if you look at some of these companies like BlaBlaCar and etc., which have come out of France, if you look at the original decks, which you can find online, there is quite a bit of a story there. There is more data than it would be in an American deck, but there's still quite a bit of a story. And there's quite a bit of a conviction in people's viewpoints and perspectives as to why this is a good startup and an idea that would scale. So I would, if I were you guys and you're looking to do something based in Western or Eastern Europe or in the Stan region.
Kyrgyzstan. Yeah.
Sorry?
Kyrgyzstan.
Kurdistan.
Kyrgyzstan, not Kurdistan. Yeah.
Kyrgyzstan. Yeah. If you're looking to do anything in this region, my suggestion is to look at the companies in France that were recent unicorns and find their original decks online and take a look at them, their original pitch decks, because I think that the French have always been very good at math and science and engineering, but they didn't take risk when I was there some time ago. Now they're taking risk. And I think that would give you another North Star to focus on beyond just the US version, right? And even like, Nikita, it's interesting, I was at a unit incubator, and I can't really say which one it is, but they have an office here and an office in Europe. And even in Europe, the founders in the same program were giving up 50% more equity and receiving 50% less money. In the same program. Yeah. And so it's just normalized that in Europe, you just don't get that much. And this is Western Europe. I mean, Eastern Europe, it's even, or Central Europe, it's even lesser resources, as you know. So like the access to capital is difficult. So I don't know if that helps to the conversation. And I jumped in late, so I don't know what the purpose of the conversation is today. So I hope that's helpful.
Yeah, basically, we are just talking about startups, common pitfalls, common techniques. We have around 200 people that are starting their business, their startups, and they are on the ideation stage right now. So they are trying to picking up the right idea and to make a best pitch deck. Azamat, what can you say about, like, from your perspective?
Yeah, to
What
the
is
Deep's point, I agree that we have less tolerance for mistake right now in our region. The perception is that if you give somebody money, you should get immediately returns, like next month or something. I know that in US, in Silicon Valley, it used to be like that maybe like 20, 30 years ago. And here, still many investors don't have a good vision of how business in tech should operate. They are not very well informed in that sense. That's why there are higher demands for numbers, for more formal type formalities in terms of the format of the pitch deck or business. They basically demand a business plan, which in a detailed way shows all the returns that they're going to get. And another thing is that they try to get as much equity as possible for as less money as possible. That's a bad thing. I mean, that used to be like that in Silicon Valley a long time ago. In that sense, for me, when I was in Draper University, pitch deck was for me more like a. I realized that there is a very clear entrepreneurship mindset in the Valley where you don't tolerate or you don't have time actually for extra fluff, extra info. You just want to see the core of the business and you just want to see the founder. So these are two things that pitch deck should basically pinpoint to the potential investor. So in that way, it also helped me to sort of crystallize my own idea, to remove all the fluff. And one tool that I would advise, it's not a tool actually, it's like an opportunity just to try to apply to YC application through YC application process, because it's open, it's free, and it's rolling basis. So I know that about 40,000 people try to apply to Y Combinator every year for every batch, and they only pick about 200 or something. But that application form and that process is also very sort of very educational. It was very educational for me. I really, rediscovered my own, project. I would say that it basically helps you to really crystallize what you want to offer to an investor. So that's one of the tools that everyone can use.
Cool. Yeah, great insights. So my question right now is, there's a lot of startups, and most of them are failed. So what are common patterns of failed startup? What are risks for startup, for founders to fail? From your perspective, obviously, yeah. So because you guys have have an opportunity to review a lot of them. You see the patterns. So let's start with from deep. How many startups have you reviewed last month?
I mean, no, last year I advised over 150 startups. Look, it's like, one of the investors said something very interesting. He said early stage startups is all about not product market fit, but founder market fit. And this is a guy who came to speak at MindsDB the week before the hackathon. Remember, Nikita, the hackathon you came to?
Yeah.
It was the week before. I don't remember the guy's name. It was one of the Indian investors there who came, and he talked about this. And actually, I agree with that I think a lot of early stage companies don't succeed because the person really doesn't understand the space very well, you know, and people need to understand the space really well. That's why when you look at things like Airbnb and Dropbox, you know, those founders were solving their own problems, and they were their own customers. So that's why it worked. You know, they know the problem really well. I think a lot of people are solving problems that they care about or they think are important, but they don't really have any, you know, a really intuitive sense of how it works. And I think that doesn't, when you don't have an intuitive sense of how it works, you wouldn't be successful at it. It's sort of like asking a vegetarian person to open a hamburger place. You know, they don't even know how to cook the hamburger meat, and they don't even know what medium rare, well done means. And it's just really not something that's going to work very well. So, and I don't see. I mean, I think the experienced investors from the ones I've talked to, and I also host, you know, VC dinners on a regular basis as well. When I talk to the VCs that are experienced, they know very quickly within the first 10 minutes, 15 minutes, whether this company is going to go somewhere or not, because they know that the founder has a market fit, that the founder understands something about the market intuitively that gives them an unfair advantage. And I think that's something that helps you stand out from the crowd. That's my, I don't know, that's my contribution to the conversation. I hope that's helpful.
Sure. Nikita, tell me please, you know, from your perspective, you're a startup, you're a founder.
Yeah.
Me and Azamat are, you know, active founders. So what are risks do we have?
Okay, I would not go into risk, because like if you go into risks, there are you're literally standing in the middle of a minefield. So I like risk, it's something that you need to live with. So it's not from my point of view, it's not about the risk, because like in any part, any path, any level you are with your startup, you're gonna have a lot of risks. Like that's the whole, I think that's one of the ideas, like startup, is people to be like crazy enough to take so many risks, right? With your product, with your idea, with your market, with, you know, your whole like package overall. I would actually like double down on what Deep said about like if you as a founder understand what you're doing, or like have an intuition that you will somehow change either like you know, your a local community or a market or like a category of people, and it's very important to like actually have a feel, like a really strong gut feeling about what you're doing. It's not so scientific, I would say. It's more about you have a hunch and you try like the way I see it, do you know when dogs get really excited about a smell that they see, and they like get like exponentially more excited the more they go and follow the trail? That's how I honestly feel about startups. Is like you get a sense of what you're doing and you constantly like follow the scent, and it gets more powerful. And probably that's, you know, you get more customers, more like you know, more contracts in what you're doing, your product gets better. So the more like the stronger the scent gets, the stronger your startup gets, the more excited you get, and at some point you will reach the point, or like the you know, the target that you first started smelling it. But like the past, you have no idea. And look again, look at how a dog follows a trail. It's like, it's not straight at all. It's just like, it seems stupid, but it gets the dog to the point that he started, you know, I mean, to the end point, sorry.
Cool. Azamat, tell me about your I don't know, from your perspective, what are patterns of failed startup when you see when you see a newly founded startup? What are their patterns?
Yeah, I personally, I think that obviously the entrepreneurs are risk takers, but they are calculated risk takers. The successful ones, they still calculate, and they're careful that they don't put everything into one basket. They still try to do step by step, as Nikita said, uh, not trying to put all your resources, all your money into one idea that is not tested yet. But once they get this traction, market traction, I think that they should go forward. They should put everything into it. But before that, of course, there is a long and a very painful period of when you try to find your product market fit. You try to get your traction. So unless you don't feel that traction, unless you don't sense that there is a market for it, you shouldn't rush into it. I think, and that way you save not only money, but you save your psychological well-being, you save your energy, you save your time. So for new starters, for new startup founders, I would advise to really work first on their idea, really look at it. And there is a book called Mom Test, as far as I know, which helps founders to ask right questions and not to really rush into with their what you call it, like confirmation bias, when you have some positive idea about something and then you just push everyone around you to agree that it's a great idea. But you need to ask the right question. You need to let people, your potential target customers, to really fully respond and fully open up about this particular product that you're offering. And then you can judge from them. And then the next steps might be like really spend very small resources to prototype your idea, and then test further, do a more wider market analysis, market testing. And once you feel that there is a demand, once you feel that you have a better product, or in some particular valuable criteria your product is better, and you see people getting interested in, ready to pay for it, then you can go forward. So for successful entrepreneur, calculated risk is a must, but it must be calculated.
Cool, great insights. Joe, tell me about like common patterns of failed startup.
I'm actually gonna probably pivot the question a little bit. Is I think what people are asking is, why are you building this particular project? Why are you building this company? Why is this problem important to you? Right? People want to know at this stage, whether it be founders, customers, is this something that you believe in? And I'm actually going to probably play as a little bit devil's advocate. So opposite of what Azamat has said, which is, for him, he's lessening risk. For me, it's going to be more, I want to know someone is all in. This is what they're committed to, 24 hours a day. They're thinking about this. This is something that they want to do. I think if you're here at the hackathon, so really appreciate all the hackathon participants here participating, whether it be this one or a couple other ones in the future, or, it could be virtual, it could be in person. You're going to really find the opportunity to partner with people that you want to work with. And sometimes it's great to work with people who already understand the same problem that you've been in and you want to collaborate. I think Nikita can share a little bit more about that. I think the other part is talking about a pivot. So within a hackathon itself, you may have multiple pivots. The idea might change. Your teammates might change. The amount of time that you want to spend on the project might change. Sometimes you may want to join more than one team. I've done hackathons where You know, I got to play around with Google Glass before it ever came out, partnering with a whole bunch of Google engineers and just having a great time. We weren't there for the hackathon or try to win the hackathon, but we wanted to go there to have like a sandbox that we can all collaborate, partner, and see what's interesting, and then speak a little bit further about longer term partnerships. I think the other part is talking about pivots, right? So you might pivot within a hackathon, you might pivot your company long term. In a typical startup, usually they're probably going to do it 3 months, maybe 6 months. Focus all your time, talk to your customers, see if this problem premise that you're working on is something that you and your team want to continue doing, and then what resources that you have. Other times, like maybe you don't have a particular idea. Maybe you're not inspired, or maybe you're like, I'm interested in so many different things. A hackathon is a great time to work with new partners, work with someone that maybe you've never thought about working with. And I think that's an amazing aspect. Ulan, Nikita, and myself were hackathon participants together. I know Nikita and I got to share a little bit more, and even from our own hackathon, we've been brainstorming additional ways to partner and grow together. I want to throw it over to you, Nikita. What are your thoughts?
Yeah. So sandbox thing, a hackathon. I would say like my proper way of enjoying a hackathon is, first, don't take it too seriously and don't take yourself too seriously. Sandbox, right? So when you think of sandbox, there are children playing, right, in sand. But think about if you're interested in startups, in AI, in whatever, you know, the hackathon can have multiple like subjects. So, but this one, it's AI, right? So you have a lot of people, a lot of like AI focused people just want to play with the same toys and the same sand, you know? Just like think about it. There are many like you can join a team if you actually you had the idea, somebody pitches right in front of you exactly what, you know, well, what happened to us in our hackathon. We just like we went with an idea, literally went with one idea in the hackathon, and the first person, the first one that pitched their idea was 80% similar. So we were like, okay, I mean, there is, why should we split like the firepower and the people, just like join one project and just work on it and see where it takes us? And it was actually a pretty good success. I mean, we had a lot of fun. We got a lot of interest afterwards. It was a brand new idea for all of us, so it wasn't like a very, for me and Joe, it wasn't our startup from the beginning. The guy that we joined actually had a product or kind of already built, so he was a bit in front of us, but we learned a lot. We got a lot of interest afterwards, which was actually surprising for me, to be honest with you. And yeah, just like have fun, just really think about it, and find people that are exactly like-minded like you. It's very important. It's a very good place. Like maybe find a co-founder if you don't have one, or at least a possible future co-founder, a possible team that you might join. Or, you know, if you have something, can just bounce it off the people there. You know, again, when you have an idea, the path to like the path to the end, or like a successful startup, it will not sound like any, like it will not even resemble 5% of what you started with. It will just constantly evolve. It will take you somewhere else. Just like let the truth take you to wherever it will take you. You will feel it, you will see it, and don't take it personally. Never take it personally.
I think Krypton actually
yeah,
had.
how to find partner. So
Yeah, I'm going to answer that. Okay, if that's okay, Ulan. So Krypton N actually had a question. It's saying it's so hard to find a like-minded partner. How did you find? Please share with your experience. I think maybe you can clarify that a little bit more. Are you saying in reference to a hackathon, or are you mentioning in relations to like a longer-term project? So Krypton, if you can maybe chime in there a little bit more. I think part of our hackathon experience was we actually had the max number of people who were able to be on a single team. So we actually went into this hackathon with our team already pre-made, pre-identified. We actually also had a concept that we brainstormed ahead of time. So we actually gone to this hackathon with our team in place. During the course of the hackathon, some people left, some people went to other projects. So then eventually Nikki and I found somebody else who had a similar idea, and we wanted to collaborate and join forces. And that was actually a 3-day hackathon. So if you really think about it, there's going to be different phases within a hackathon. There's going to be an ideation phase. There's going to be a finding talent partners or business partners or other people who are within that area. If your skill set isn't finding people, typically hackathon organizers want to help connect people. So within our particular hackathon, they already had organizers, they had a process. So if you didn't have team members, they made sure that everybody could at least walk away during the matchmaking time. And I think Krypton had said how to choose roles when creating a company or a startup project. So with Nikita, Ulan, myself, Azamat, and Deep, we all actually have at least 5+ years of work experience. And for many of us, we actually already have experience in multiple different industries. If you don't have a lot of experience right now in choosing your particular role, just find out what you're interested in. It could be you're interested in talking to customers. Maybe your interest is actually building something in AI. Others might be like, my school or my job is functioning in one particular area. Maybe you want to further that experience. You can do that at hackathon. Others are like maybe do something different. So maybe you're trying to learn a particular AI model. Maybe you're trying to do prompt engineering. You can fine tune your skill sets and use a hackathon as a sandbox to be able to move forward and move to the next step. What do you think, Ulan?
Yeah, sounds good. Like Nikita mentioned that don't take it too seriously because after all, it's just a hackathon. It will be fun for you. So you better choose the role that you're excited most. And apparently you'll be the most effective person probably if you're excited. If you all
Yeah.
guys from your team are excited about your roles, about what you're doing, so eventually you will build a great product out of it. So yeah, I totally agree. Azamat, tell us about our experience because we also participated in hackathon a couple of weeks before the Techstars. So what are your
We were
insights?
in the same team, Lan and me. And actually, I made guys like Ulan and YC, not Y Combinator, but YC from Draper
Another
University.
YC, the better
Another-
YC.
Better YC, yeah. 3 of us, and then Khaled also joined. So 4 of us, we worked on basically my prop tech idea. So, but good thing is that Ulan was on the technical side, and YC helped a lot with his showing his experience, his portfolio. I think we did a good job. There was a lot of interest for our project at the end of the day. But my experience is that hackathon really is a good sandbox, as Joseph said, to test your idea. But I would come up with the idea that you really want to work on as a startup going forward, because so you should put good thought on what you want to work on during hackathons, because hackathon helps you to really test your idea, because there will be judges who will be looking at your startup idea or hackathon idea from different perspectives. They'll give you good criticism and everything. So it's a good testing ground for your startup. And in our case also, I mean, we got some good criticism, some good positive feedback. We saw where we can, improve what our idea. So and also another thing I think during the meeting I mentioned, but Joe and Deep, we are going to bring about 30 people from Kyrgyzstan to San Francisco in February and March for 2-week dive into some Silicon Valley program. Hopefully, it's a project by High Tech Park of Kyrgyzstan. So one of their activity will be participating in some of the hackathons, the publicly available hackathons, which will be happening in the area. This is so guys, please use this hackathon as a as a training for you before you, if some of you will be participating in that program. I know Ulan will be picking some people from among this group also. So once you go there, you can really see how hackathons actually is a good way. I think a hackathon is a good way to if you win, if you get good feedback, to really find VCs maybe even, or to find partners, or to find clients in the Silicon Valley. It's one of the ways to quickly, achieve some goals in Silicon Valley. What would you say, guys, to this?
Yeah, Deep.
So you said that you're coming in February, March?
Yes, guys, heads up, I'm opening co-living, co-working space in San Francisco, starting February 5. I already leasing the space, and there will be capsule hotel, and there will be co-working space. So, and we are bringing there about 30 founders from Kyrgyzstan, not only founders, but tech guys also, to a 2-week program in February, March, and April. So I will invite you guys for opening, but that's like a new program by High Tech Park of Kyrgyzstan.
Cool.
So that sounds like a very interesting idea. There is a really good conference that happens around March every year that I would recommend to any international startup founder, which is called Startup Grind.
Great.
It goes on for like 2-3 days. It's held in Redwood City, which is about 6, 7, maybe 10 kilometers north of Palo Alto.
Okay.
And it's called Startup Grind, and you can find it online. Tickets are a few $100s, but it's like a several-day conference, and it's stories of a lot of founders of how they built stuff, and stories from VC perspective as to what's important. And before COVID, they had like 8 to 10,000 people attend. When I went this last year in 2023, they still had about 2,000-3,000 people show up, but there are people from over 100 countries that come. And that's a very good conference for a lot of international founders, because it gives them a chance to get a chance to see the Silicon Valley game, first of all. And second of all, it gives them a chance to meet a lot of other international founders who are also kind of in the same state of clarity and confusion in terms of what to do next, right? And so they feel then that they are not alone in their journey. So I don't know what the dates are for that, but whatever you're going to organize.
Grind, you said? It's a name
Startup Grind is the name of the conference.
Okay,
Yeah, and so I would, if you can, I would organize your trip around that time period, because I think that coming to that conference and having people attend that conference is going to be hugely valuable to, like, it's probably the best way to understand the Silicon Valley ecosystem for a person from outside the US. That's
great.
My impression of that conference. I would highly recommend that. So that's the first thing. And then second of all, if you're going to be doing something in terms of like, you want the folks to participate in a hackathon, then I'm sure there'll be some other hackathons that are happening that time period. I don't know what's going on that time period, but there's always some hackathon happening every week, that's being listed on lu.ma or listed on Partiful.com. There's some hackathon happening all the time, so
Yeah.
So that's my suggestion.
They're all on Everbright and on Luma, most of them, right?
Partiful and Luma.
Okay.
And Eventbrite.
Eventbrite, yeah.
Yeah, these are the three.
We will share the links. Yeah, with all of the guys. My question
Dave,
right now.
I'll get in touch with you when I'm back.
Cool.
Sorry?
Deep, I'll get in touch with you regarding Startup Grind when I'm back. I'll fly back on Wednesday.
Oh, okay, sure. You guys, I have to run because I have a meeting now to go to, but I hope that's helpful.
Thank you,
Dave,
Dave.
thank you so
Thanks,
much
Dave.
for joining us. Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, good to see you, Ulan. Good to see you, Nikita.
See you.
Hopefully we get
Great
to
to
see you
see you,
guys
Dave.
here again in the US soon, okay?
Yeah.
All right, take care. Bye.
Bye.
Okay. So, another question. How difficult it will be to train your transfer? Oh, yeah. This is kind of, more technical question. I think I will answer your questions a little bit later. So my question is, what's special about Silicon Valley? How do you think? So, because this is not geographical place, because there is no sign of Silicon Valley. This is not geographical. What makes Silicon Valley stand out of the crowd? Because there is a lot of, startup hubs, ecosystems all over the world, but this place is kind of unique. What makes it unique? Like, what do you think? Azamat, tell us.
Well, I think Joe is more qualified to answer this, but I'll just shortly say that I think Silicon Valley is just became an ideal place in terms of the geography, in terms of the capital that was flowing in. It started with actually like military industrial complex of United States. The military started building some rocket production and all the electronics that related to it. And then it started from there, but also then all the entrepreneurs came in there. The chip manufacturing started there, and then all the waves of new technologies sort of strengthened that area. And then, of course, now AI is like a new wave, and I think it always be like that in that Silicon Valley because of just the historical geography, the Stanford University, the people, just the economy of United States that puts a lot of focus on tech and on that particular area. So yeah.
From my point of view, it was kind of, interesting that this is a pretty like average place, because small cities, small towns around Bay Area, San Francisco, the infrastructure is not so like well equipped. That there are no super
As in
modern.
Shenzhen, you mean, or Shanghai?
Yeah, and there are no super modern buildings and flying machines. Pretty obvious place. So it was kind of interesting. It's more of it's all based on the community. So the people, Joe or Nikita, tell us about the community, about the people. How are they different from the people from other places?
I
All
think
right.
communities. Go ahead, Nikita.
Yeah, it's so me and Joe, we have different perspectives because like I went there to experience it, and and Joe, like he gets a lot of people, and he's kind of used to that culture. But before I go into that, I will just tell Umidian, did I say that right?
Mijan.
Umijan, that we saw your question, and we're just gonna go with this storyline first, and then we're gonna answer your question. So biggest one, and as you said, it's not like an infrastructure fantasy, and it's not about that. It's cultural. It's so culturally speaking, at least for me, the experience was it basically like kind of turned whatever I thought I knew about startups and just like either like turn it and threw it out the window. It's very different, and people are different in the way they think, in the way they see stuff. And there are a couple of like terms that you hear a lot on the internet, but if you're not in Silicon Valley, it's hard to like understand it. And I know I had like an entire night talking with Joe about this, and it's about abundance. And trust me, there's no way you can understand what abundance is until you go to Silicon Valley. Even though it seems like a pretty regular whatever place, there's so much stuff going on and so many options for whatever you're thinking you're gonna do or want to do, or where you want to be or who you want to be with. It's just ridiculous. And did I don't know, like even in Europe, it's hard to like find a place to really understand that kind of level of abundance that there is. And also the level of the level of difference that a place can like achieve. It's very interesting. Like it's culturally it's mind opening in a way. And it's very focused on people. It's very focused on like social impact a lot. It's very focused on extremely new technologies, and like people like I've seen a lot of people in Romania as well that think of when there's like a cutting edge thing like AI, there people say like millions of people are doing it in San Francisco. But if you go to events and hackathons, like the people that repeatedly go, I would say, are just like smaller teams, smaller than you would imagine. I would actually put it like a couple of thousands that are really on, actually thinking about the cutting edge and taking the word forward, which is weird to think about it, but I wouldn't go like with millions. I would go with a couple of thousands that are really like focused, and they will stay there for until like AI gets more mature. And that's the thing that I saw is like really garage meetings, like you go into a cafe and you see it online and you think like, oh no, thousands of people will be there, but like just very small amount of like very interesting people until like it's I don't know, like it was so fascinating for me to like see how San Francisco works, and it's so much based on people and community. It's shocking, but it's nice. And I will push it now to Joe because like he's been used to that, and I'm the weird one right now for him. So
Joe, you're
I'll just
yeah.
No, I mean, for me, community is who I've been. So prior to being a recruiter, which is building teams through community, I was a former failed founder myself, raised $1 million, was a health information website, learned what not to do. I should have exited year 1 versus year 5, but you kind of never want to fail and you keep on going, you get a little more traction, a little more traction. So I think part of it is if you are doing a project for however long, just figure out how much are you willing to quote unquote sacrifice for that particular project or hackathon. It could be time, it could be resources, it could be energy. Just kind of do a little bit of a self-evaluation of what you're willing to invest into that particular project. I think one other concept that really kind of came up was the idea of serendipity. So I think Nikita can definitely remember what does serendipity mean. So serendipity is going to be one of those concepts where, imagine you are, going to catch a train and you miss that train that you usually jump on and you had to take the next one. And then during that next train, you met someone amazing, or, you got off the wrong train stop and you went around the corner and there's an amazing cafe that you never thought and it's brand new. So I think part of it is how do you build critical mass? This hackathon as well. Maybe you meet one of us, maybe we'll meet one of you in the future. I think part of it really is maybe you'll meet other people in your own community. How can you support each other, whether it be online, in real life, virtually? There's different ways to kind of collaborate. It could be around an idea. It could also just be around community, maybe where you're from, maybe you have a hometown. It could also be just a common interest, or you're trying to build something out as well. And I also really think that in the idea of serendipity and abundance, and here in Silicon Valley, whenever I speak to people around a meetup or event, like let's say there's an AI meetup, there might only be 1 or 2 AI meetups in that particular city, or sometimes that entire country. Here, literally you can go out every single day and you can have a AI meetup. Some days there's 3, other times there's 8 meetups happening in Silicon Valley, and that's only the public ones, not even smaller ones. So in the world of abundance, there's gonna be many different ideas. Your idea is probably not gonna be novel, it's not gonna be new, but it's gonna be about execution, and how do you want to work on that. So to answer John's question about whether or not you want to restore the idea or startup, it's really going to be about you. Sometimes it's going to be timing, right? It could be you are playing around with, a AI bot and you released it, 6 months ago. Maybe the timing wasn't right. Maybe your partners weren't right. Maybe what was available 6 months ago, right now the technology is a little better now, and now that product might be a better idea to start it up again. I think at a hackathon, it's an amazing time to figure out how to expand that idea. And also part of it is maybe you want to try the same idea, but with a different partner. Maybe the other partners that you had before were not the right ones. Now, within this community, and thank you for all the people who are on the call today, and people who are listening as well, is like, take that opportunity to look in your network, also maybe kind of give first. So if you are a giving person, kind of have that openness around culture and trying to share. I think here in Silicon Valley, the idea of 1 + 1 does not equal 2. 1 + 1 can equal 3. And what that means is like we're collaborating, we're putting things together. It might be creating something brand new. And that idea of brand newness is innovation. So that for us is innovation through community. Go ahead, Ulan.
Yeah. So I just wanted to add some more insights. So yeah, that's all based on the community, based on the people. It's not, you meet people that are like, be nice, be open-minded, and don't forget to share your ideas. Because people here in Kyrgyzstan, they are always obsessed with the, like, they say, I won't say about my idea anyone because they will steal my idea. Like, they will implement the same thing. It was my idea because, people are closed. Try to be open-minded, try to share your ideas, share what you are doing right now, and don't be afraid of that anyone will steal your idea, because as Joe mentioned, it's all about the implementation, execution. So yeah, and apparently this is a mass effect. Somehow you find the right solution, you find the best people for your project when you talk to people, to a lot of people on meetups, on events, or hackathons. Yeah. Okay. So question from Krypton. For example, in a startup project, there are 8 developers and 2 sales managers. When at the beginning there is a little money and they will have a share in the company, is this considered normal? So as I understand, as I got a lot of founders, is it normal or not?
Well, so when I saw the number of people, I wanted to ask, like, what's the maturity of the startup also. My point of view, if you're just like literally starting off with 8 developers and 2 sales managers, you cannot all of you be co-founders. That's
Too much.
that's too much. I mean, if the startup, in a startup, yes, it's normal to like give equity away. It's like, again, you have no money. Like even in your question, you have like, there is little money, and shares are something that you kind of can compensate people with, because like in a corporation, you cannot expect the corporate to give you the part like shares for when you join the team, and only for like the top management. But in a startup, you can expect like to get, even if you're a developer, to get some shares. That's normal. But like 8 developers and 2 salespeople from the beginning as co-founders. Oh no, I cannot imagine how that would go. I mean, even like you need to make decisions fast. Like like right, if there was a question right now, or like you need to like say something to a customer to be able to make a decision now. There's no way you can like put 10 people around the table to make a decision. That would like ruin your, especially your experience at a startup, and like nobody would look at you as a startup anymore. Like it's like it's not a startup, it's more like uh, a board meeting with 10 people constantly. And you know, there needs to be like somebody to like run and you know, kind
Yeah,
of like
agree.
turn ideas and make it work. So yeah,
I would say,
I'm not sure. Depends on if like Krypton can like tell us more about it, maybe yes, but you know,
yeah.
not clear enough.
So yeah, there's about three, like Joe said, 3 to 5 people at most. Azamat, well, guys, we are about to with this hour. Yeah, so what are your wishes? Tell us about the wishes to the new founders. Like I said, from 14 years old to 40 years old, and the future founders, because we will record all these conversation. What are your best wishes? I don't know, maybe tips and tricks, and what they should look at.
Yeah, just yesterday I watched this podcast where Webly founder David Ruseka was telling about product market fit and how they found it. It's one of the successful cases from Y Combinator also. So he mentions that, and actually it's a mantra all over in Silicon Valley, right? So you have to solve a problem. You have to identify and solve a problem that is relevant to a lot of people, to enough people that can comprise a viable market size or target market. So before you start, think about it really deeply. What kind of problem you want to solve, and what are your capabilities? What are your resources that you have with which you can solve? Those can be your knowledge, your skills, any other resources. So businesses are created to solve the problems and to make life better. And in that sense, I think that's the top one question that you need to answer before you start.
Joe, have some.
Oh, first and foremost, thank you so much for the invitation to get all of our friends back here together on this call and meet your community. And we definitely look forward to hearing more about your future pitches and just seeing what the community come from this hackathon and future hackathons. So thank you so much, Ulan and the Kramer Project. I think part of it right now really is there's going to be a right side of your brain and left side of your brain. There's also going to be the head and heart mind. So I think part of it really is, why are you doing this particular project? And is it something that really resonates with you? Are you passionate about it? Just like if you had an amazing travel experience or really good food, or maybe you had a music and something that's really exciting to you, and you feel like, oh my gosh, that's amazing, and you can't explain it. That is probably one of the ideas that you may want to move forward. And then obviously the analytical side and mind side would be very important as well. You know, what are the resources? How do I execute against it? How long do I want to execute against it? What are the resources I want to invest into this project? You're going to have both the heart and mind together. But when all of that happens together, then magic and serendipity can happen. So if you do come across serendipity for your particular project here in the hackathon, or for your future ideas in startup world, if you really look back at the end of the experience, it's just one of your stories, however long that story is. But you get a chance to say, you know what? I either learned something, I met someone great, I made an impact in the world, or it's something that, you know, maybe it made a little bit of money or a lot of money. But I think at the end of the day, really is how do we have that like excitement? And once that happens, you're gonna do amazing. So thank you.
Thank you, Joe. Kind words, Nikita.
Yeah, so Ulan, and thank you very much for inviting us. It was actually pretty nice, and
Yeah.
I had a lot of
Thanks
fun.
for joining us at 6.
Yeah, yeah. For me, it's 6:58 right now, but yeah, 7 o'clock.
Wow.
Yeah. Honestly, like my point with hackathon is have a lot of fun. Like literally, just think about it again. Sandbox, have a lot of fun. There's no way you can expect what can happen in a hackathon if you expose yourself to serendipity. Again, it's like the point of like exposing yourself to so many different things, and you know, just like iterating with your startup idea, right? You just like keep on just moving and moving and moving and creating new stuff. You expose yourself to the unknown, and the unknown is very interesting and very funny, and also can be very serious and very good for you. So just go ahead and do whatever you can think of you want to do. Have fun, find the people that have fun playing the same game with you. That's very important. And you know, just go ahead and, you know, be in the search of truth. Never forget, like find the path is weird, and it will just like make you question yourself a lot, but if you have fun, there's no way you're not gonna end up in a good place. So just enjoy it.
Thank you, Nikita. Thank you, guys. Thanks for joining us. I really appreciate. I'm very grateful to all of you, especially people from outside of Kyrgyzstan, because time zones there matter. Thanks for for your time, and thanks to our participants, startuppers, founders. As I said, I will record all this conversation for future startuppers, for future founders. I hope that you find it interesting, and you know, you to take some recommendations, and maybe it will be useful for you. Thanks all, and bye.
Thank you. Bye bye.
Thank you
everyone.
guys. Bye 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 bye.
Yeah.